Welcome back to Sim Sunday and episode 6 in this European Commuter series, where we're looking at Virtual Columbia's budget add-on aircraft for prepared 3D version 4.5. And today we're at Nantes Atlantique airport in the northwest of France at exactly the same stand that we left off in the last flight on board the Virtual Columbia CRJ1000 in the livery of Air France Hop. And staying with Air France Hop, we're now in Virtual Columbia's ATR72-500. And today we're flying to Zurich in Switzerland. However, before I get into this flight, there's a few things that I want to get off my chest. First of all, there are no direct services available between Nantes and Zurich. Number 2, Air France Hop no longer fly the ATR. Instead, the only aircraft that they're flying these days is the Embraer 170 through 190 and of course the CRJs. So this flight has stretched my imagination somewhat, but the reason I'm flying to Zurich is so that I can finish off this European Commuter service flying the Airbus A220-100 of Swiss up to London City, probably Europe's most iconic commuter airport. From Simbrief, we're planning a departure on runway 21 with a left hand shortly after takeoff, and again another left hand taking us in a northeasterly direction towards Paris. There's a saying in France, every road leads to Paris, and it's obviously the same with the airways, because the most direct route would have been across the middle of France, but I'm guessing due to military airspace we're being directed northeast towards Paris before turning slightly right and southeast towards the Alps, the German border, and of course Switzerland. I'm guessing that most of you that flight sim will understand when I say this, that once in a while one of your flights goes completely wrong. Thank goodness it's in the sim and not for real. So here are my excuses for why this flight was so particularly bad. First of all, this ATR from Virtual Columbia was bought for FSX and not prepared. However, there were update files available from the Virtual Columbia website to make it compatible with prepared 3D version 4, but I have to admit guys, it's not a great update, and in fact this aircraft is pretty terrible. The starter continuously wanted to engage for some particular reason, and again I just think it was a bug or maybe an incompatibility with prepared. The worst part of this flight was on the arrival into Zurich. The default ATC in prepared vectored me towards runway 28 on a VFR approach when the airport was most definitely IFR only. So you'll see me a little bit later in this video make an absolute hash of my landing in Zurich. So with my excuses out of the way, it's time to get this flight underway. And as I've said throughout this European Commuter series, these aircraft from Virtual Columbia are little better than the default aircraft that you would have got with FSX or prepared. They are a little bit better, and this video series is designed to show you what is possible with even basic aircraft costing less than $25 each. So with that, I'm going to shut up now and get this terrible flight between Nantes and Zurich underway. As we're taxiing out, the other thing to say folks is that yeah, I did it again. I forgot to switch over from my external speaker to the internal monitor speaker, so I'm afraid there is no ATC in this flight. I did warn you that this flight was a disaster from start to finish, and of course the vast majority of the issues caused by user error. As we make our initial climb towards flight level 210 or 21,000 feet, I'm going to turn the cameras off and come back to this flight when we're on our descent into Zurich. With the Alps and Lake Geneva off to our right, it was time to descend towards Zurich. To be honest, I was half expecting ILS runway 34 at Zurich, but instead it offered me a visual approach into runway 28. I should have forced a runway change and gone for ILS 34, because without a doubt Zurich should not have been IFR on this particular day in early December 2020.
Sink.
300.
Don't sink.
200.
Don't sink.
100.
Minimums. Minimums.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Rotate.
Right guys, welcome to Zurich, and the scenery I have installed here at Zurich is from FS Dream Team, and to be honest, I'm not going to say anything else about this flight other than it was pretty horrible. And of course, the majority of the mistakes down to me. Anyway, as we taxi onto stand, I'm going to bring this particular episode of Sim Sunday to a close, and thank you very much for watching. On the next video, I'm going to be flying the Virtual Columbia Airbus A220-100 of Swiss up to London City, and that will be the final video in this European Commuter series.